Y'all, it's time. It's time. You are in the Don't Be Useless podcast live, and I am just ready to get into this topic. I'm sure you saw the head. You saw what we're going to be talking about today. This is one of my favorite questions. And I say it's one of my favorite questions, even though I've just started taking questions from you. I love talking relationships. It is one of my favorite things. Talking relationships, talking about how you navigate being a person of faith, and then all these boundaries you got in life. How do you handle all that? So we're going to be getting into that because we had someone write in with this specific question about when you're going to tell somebody, look, I'm not opening up my girl down there until I'm all the way married. Okay? When I'm all the way married, then me and my girl will be free. Okay? But until then, clank clank, I'm locking it down. So I am looking for this conversation. Before we get started, I just got to remind you guys the purpose and the point of why we are here. We are here to deliver, to help you deliver on your vision, to use your God-given gifts, and to help you build your confidence. That is why, y'all. That is why we are here. That is what the Don't Be Useless podcast is all about. I want to remind you that you can email me at hello@itspriscillab.com, and you can send me any question you want. And not just myself is going to answer this question. It's going to be the Don't Be Useless fam. That DBU fam is in the building. So I want to say shout out right now to, let's see who we have on the line here. So we got Alicia's in the building. Andrea's in the building. Maya is watching on Facebook as well. Shalik on Facebook. Love you guys. Y'all, y'all are tribe. Y'all just have no idea. I just love y'all to pieces. All right. Let's see here. So I'm going to move over to YouTube and see who we have on YouTube. On YouTube, I don't see a name. I need you guys to drop something in the chat so I can see who you are. If I cannot see who you are, then I'm not able to say hello. So you got to say something on Facebook. It tells me who you are, but if you're not on Facebook, it does not tell me who you are. So I want to make sure that I'm saying what's up and you guys feel all my love and you know that I am here for you guys. So we're going to get started. Now, there are 3 specific segments that I've been doing this second season, and I've gotten some really, really good feedback from you guys. You guys seem to be really vibing with this feedback or with this new change in the season. Hello, Ty or Tasha on YouTube. And a couple other folks need to drop your emoji so I know who you are. All right. So I like to do Buzz of the Week. That's where I take something that's kind of been happening out in the world. People have been talking about it, chitty chat. And I like to just kind of throw it up against the wall. That's kind of how we open. Let me see how y'all feel about what's been going on out there, because I also care about my community, like what we think. Okay. We are our own little world. All right. Hey, Tina. All right. And then I like to jump into my questions. You guys know you can email me and you will stay completely anonymous at hello@itspriscillab.com. And then after that, I like to leave you with just something I call a profuse point. It is something that I want to urge you to do. I want to challenge you to do. You will be a better human, I believe, if you consider this thing, if you do this thing. So that is how we close out. And then I want to make sure that I do not forget to pray for you. Something that kind of go deep for a moment. One of the biggest challenges that I've had since I've gone out to the airwaves outside of a church building is staying myself. I feel like it's the hardest thing to do when you start something on your own. And what I mean by that, if you are supposed to record music, if you are supposed to write a book or have a YouTube channel or do a podcast or whatever it is new that you can do or you should do, the hardest thing ever is to actually start. And then once you start, the second hardest thing is to actually remain yourself. Because what happens is you see all those people you've been watching do it really, really well. And who do you want to do it like? You want to do it like the people you're watching. You want to kind of mimic how you do things based on them. And so it has taken me like 2 years to start to, I think just now, y'all, I'm really starting to let myself be myself no matter where I am. And that for some reason has been a struggle. So I just love my community who has latched on to me and they're like, keep going. I feel y'all love. Y'all be like, keep going, speak out, let's go, get real, be yourself. But you know what I want to do? I want to flip that thing and push it right back to you. You keep going. You be yourself no matter where you are. You express yourself the way you are and just let people deal with it. Just let them deal with it. And you be everything God has called you to be. And again, we're here to help you build that confidence. So, all right. So our buzz that we're going to start with is, y'all, I hate to start with something heavy, but it has been like battle of the governor. I ain't heard the word governor used this much. I don't even hear the word governor used this much in an election than what I've been hearing used in the last 2 weeks because of all this quarantine stuff. I mean, it's governor of New York says this, then it's, this governor says that, and they're gonna open up their state and all the nail salons, glory to God, is gonna be all open and this and that. Y'all, it has been the battle of the governors. Have y'all been hearing this? Have y'all been seeing this, all this stuff going on? I want to say, I really, this may be shallow. I don't care. Okay. Like for the governors and their rules, I need to know what they are. Just tell me, sir, ma'am, what is the rule that I need to not break so I'm not locked up? Okay. Just tell me what that is. And then I'll go over here and huddle with myself, my family, and I'll figure out how I can live my life with your rules because I want to honor them. Like the Bible says, I want to honor them. But I don't care how you came to this decision. I don't care all the conversations y'all having. I don't care if Trump said you could or could not do it. What's the rule? Okay, tell me the rule. So needless to say, I'm not watching the news like that. I'm not tracking all the things. I just need to know the bottom line. I don't know. I already have a bit of a distrust for political figures. Needless to say, I'm just, y'all, is it just me? Throw it in chat, throw it in the comments. I need to know, is it just me? Y'all, I can't track all this stuff. I can't. Alicia said, hey girl, laugh out loud. I'm right there with you. I'm just trying to stay safe. That's it. Sir, if you're not going to tell me something that's finna, is going to protect my life, outside of that, I'm good. And it seems like a lot of y'all saying stuff that puts my life in danger, telling me to go run out in the street. I can't, sir. No, thank you. Andrea said, yes, I had to stop watching the news. Totally. I had him like, look, life is way bigger. I just can't do it. Me too. Thank you, Maya. Yes, me too. The other thing that I think has kind of been a bit of a buzz, and if you guys know of a buzz that I missed this week, please drop that in the comments. Let me know if I missed any buzz in these streets. But something that I think that has been a little bit almost annoying, and this is going to sound so bougie. Oh, let me get a couple more of these comments. I've been avoiding it even on social media. Me too. I've been avoiding it. I'm just going to stay right here. That's right, Maya. You stay right there. Tasha on YouTube said, agreed. And hey, Angie. The other thing that I've seen that's been happening in the world or the world of social media is everybody is going live on Instagram. And I know this is just a first world bougie problem, but I have been so annoyed with all these people blowing. Like when I go to Instagram, especially on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, it's like 10 people live. And then I feel like I'm like judging everybody. Like I hop in all their lives. And if it ain't good enough in 2 seconds, you got 2 seconds to catch me. If it ain't good enough, I'm gone. I was like, what is this world of all this? Everybody's just talking. People just saying random stuff. I know we tired of being in the house, but I was like, is it just me, y'all? Ugh, I'm tired of this. I'm like, we need to put all of us need to go right back to work. All right, so we're about to move I'm gonna let you guys comments rolled in. Yes, Maya, everybody and their mama is going live. See there? Y'all are with me. Diane said, I'm just waiting for all to be clear. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just trying to be safe and trust in God. That's just what it is. That's just the bottom line. I'm just trying to be safe, trust God, and move on with life. All right, we're about to get into our questions. We had 2 questions come in that I want to address today. And as I transition to that, I'm going to respond to Silky Hand 74. What is your name? But she said all the DJs going live. Now, I have to admit, there is this one DJ, not a Christian DJ. There's this one DJ that was like, that DJ was like, I'm about to be in this high-rise condo apartment thing. I don't know where he lived. It is gorgeous. And they were like, I'm trying to be DJing for the whole world. So this dude got his DJ booth out. He has got his earphones, y'all. He been going live every day or every Sunday or something. I've only seen him twice, but he be dropping them 80s and 90s hits. Okay. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Yes, it's D Nice. Hey, Stephanie. Yes, I thought it took. I was like, "Woo, Lord, I'm gonna have to get up out of here," because y'all know I be reciting out music. I mean, I hear a word and boom, I got a song for it. So I was like, I can't be in DJ D Nice's space because he be woo. I told you that. I said, "Oh my goodness, he done took me back to 19." Nah. Look, jamming. I'm just saying. Lord, and I be having to protect my heart, y'all. Y'all know, whatever's in me comes out. So I have to really protect myself. Someone says, I must admit, I have enjoyed the DJs. I think I agree with that. I think DJs are separate. They're not just talking. They're not just filling up air. They are literally just giving goodness, most of the time. It depends on what they're playing, but you know what I mean. Someone said, yes, the music is great. We need something to keep our spirits up. Yes, Andrea, we do need stuff to keep our spirits up. And hopefully the Don't Be Useless podcast is part of that, to keep your Mondays always feeling good and always feeling nice. Okay, so I have the question, Pastor Jamal Bryant DJing too? What? Did y'all know this? Pastor Jamal Bryant was DJing? Tasha, no. We got pastors. What they DJing? What are they talking about? Oh my goodness. Now, the only person that I would be 100% fine with DJing is Michael Todd, y'all. Michael Todd can do whatever he wants. He got his system set up so well. His online, he's so in tune with just us, the millennial. Like look, DJ, sir, bring Natalie over there. Let her dance right there next to you. It is, yes. But y'all, Jamal Bryant, I need to look. I can't look. Like, I don't look up stuff just, that's a lie. I was going to say I don't look up stuff just to laugh at it, but I totally do. There's this one guy on Instagram, and then I move on to these questions. There's this one guy on Instagram, Tony Baker Comedy. Oh, his lives are fire? Which one? Michael Todd or Jamal Bryant? So Tony Baker Comedy does voiceovers, and he does a lot of them for like animals, dogs, cats, different things like that. But it has a little bit of a hood approach to it, just a tad. And he has this language that he uses with these animals. Like, he has certain things and phrases he says and doesn't says. It is the funniest, y'all. I laugh so hard. If I want to go to bed in joy, like, I'm just like, I just need something real quick to just make me laugh, right? I just want my emotions to rise. Y'all, I will look him up and he will have me on the floor. Oh, YouTube is with me. Angie Spain said, yes, he's my favorite, says Stephanie. Them voiceovers and the dog is my favorite. Rudy, you know what? What in the haberdashery? I said, let me quit. Check out Tony Baker Comedy. Hilarious. He's heavily associated with Kev on Stage. Kev on Stage is my other person that makes me laugh. Kev on Stage is more on the Christian side. You're not going to hear him cussing. It's way clean. I just love it. And I just love the down-to-earth nature of their their whole setup. Okay. Question number 1. I'm about to throw this thing in. It's time for our Q&A segment. This Q&A segment is brought to you by myself. Yeah. But it's really brought today by you. That's right. Ain't no ads up in here. You send me the questions and I respond to them. So you email me at hello@ispriscillab.com. And that is what we have because, it's there. Can't do it on Facebook, but I'll drop it on YouTube and I'll read it out. It says, my question is, if you have confessed Christ as your personal savior and you commit suicide, what happens? No ads yet. Yes, on Facebook. I'm going to read the question again because this is a community of, okay? Someone says, my question is, if you have confessed Christ as your personal savior and you commit suicide, what happens? This is one of the heaviest questions, and it is also a question that has come up so much in my time of walking with God. So much, because the question, I think if someone is asking personally, first of all, I get alarmed. Okay, is this person just curious? They just want to know. Or does this person know someone who has done this before? Maybe they accepted Jesus and they actually committed suicide, like they did it. And then my third thing that I think of when this question was sent in is it something they're contemplating? Are they thinking about this for themselves? So I'm very careful in the response on this because it's a big question. At the same time, you guys know there are 0 questions off limits in the Don't Be Useless family, okay? 0. So I'm definitely going to tackle this. Somebody put, Maya put, I've wondered that before myself. On Facebook, yeah, it's a real thing. Somebody on YouTube said it came up in a conversation I didn't know how to answer. Oh, she just gonna tell y'all she the one that emailed it in. Okay, Diane, go ahead, Diane Graham. Okay, she said she just gonna tell. Well, then tell people. You don't gotta stay anonymous then, because I'll let you stay anonymous. But she said she wants y'all to know it was her, and it came up in a conversation. All right, Diane, let's talk through it then. Stephanie on YouTube says, my first thought, why the question? I would immediately pray. Absolutely. Someone says, I know a lot of people who have, what does that mean, Maya? Have committed or have had the question? So let me throw out my thoughts initially, and then we're going to move on to the second question, which is about when in the dating process do you tell somebody you are holding out? And y'all better have your responses loaded, okay? Because this is a big topic and we want to walk away fully educated by each other. But the first thing is no. No, you don't want to be the person who is thinking about suicide. Let's just start there. The person who sent this question, she said, it's not her thinking about it. But if you ever find yourself thinking about taking your own life, I challenge, I've heard someone say that it's one of the most selfish things a person can do because of all the people who suffer because of their decision. I refrain from that thought because I don't want anyone to feel judged for having that thought. I myself have thought about suicide before. I have. When I think I was in high school, I thought about it. I felt really, really trapped at home. And so because I felt so trapped at home, I was like, you know what? If I commit suicide, then I won't have to be here. And heaven is bomb. So things in me, even though I was the awkward outcast girl, that there was still more to my life and it wasn't mine to take. So first I want to start by saying that if you've ever thought about suicide, here's one of the things I would say, and it's a little bit harsh, but you didn't give yourself the life. You should also not take it. If God gave you the life, which he did, then you have been purposed because God is very meticulous. He doesn't do things by accident. He is very, very, very intentional. So if you have ever thought about this, I want you to think way bigger. God is a sovereign God. He knows way more than you. So even though life feels heavy, it is never worth exiting early. It's never worth exiting early. Let God play out. Let the plan play out. Let God change things. Give him time. Because sometimes I think suicide is saying, I've taken the world into my own hands. I am my own answer. I don't have answers. Let me leave early. No, do not leave early. Trust yourself in the hands of God. Yes, you're going to have days that suck. You're going to have seasons, moments that are horrid. And you have to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to still be patient and give God time to handle this situation and give God time to work through me and in me. And you know what I would say? I would be like, you know what, God, instead of me continuing to think about suicide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you for help. I'm going to ask you for help, and then I'm going to try to be patient. I'm going to try to find joy in every day. I'm going to try to get grateful about something. And I've said this too, some people, they get caught up in, being outcast or ridiculed or bullied. And so they're like, I'm going to take my life early, this and that. No, no. Let me tell you, everybody got something cute on them. Okay. This is so off topic, but I'm going to say everybody got something cute on them. You think you ugly? You think you not cute? You is cute. It might be your toes that's cute. You might be like, look, my toes is cute. Okay. So that is your feature. Okay. Summer coming, sandals. Okay. It may be you got cute ears. All right. Maybe the shape of your head is amazing. You've seen someone else with a bad shape and you're like, but the shape of my head is awesome. Be grateful for something. God gave you something to work with. Okay. Some of us are like, yes, but I'm 1,000 pounds overweight. Girl, I'm with you. I done fluffed up real good in the past 6 weeks. I'm with you. But maybe you're like, but I still got a waistline. Okay. Get grateful. A grateful heart. The Bible says laughter does good like a medicine. Where did your joy go? If you have ever thought about suicide, think about how dark things got. And this could even mean, even when it comes to comedy, sometimes comedy is super dark and the things you're laughing at are identifying with suicidal thoughts. You have to be very careful because the enemy will use anything. Be very, very careful. So don't let your joy leave you. And this includes depression, any lower emotional state. And that's why for me, if I find myself emotionally, I'm like, you know what? I just need a belly laugh. And that's why the two comedians I mentioned tonight, Tony Baker Comedy and Kev on Stage, y'all, if I go to their page, they have put me in tears. Like I'm in tears laughing. Like I am, y'all, because there is joy out there. There's joy. And I think when you grow up in God, like when you mature enough, you'll know how to go to the word and draw strength because we know that the word of God is power. All right, I'm about to go to you guys' comments because I've missed them. And because you are a part of this podcast, I am always going to read them because I want to hear what you have to say. Andrea said it's part of my husband's testimony, and she's talking about suicide. He tried but failed at attempting suicide. It was actually one of the reasons why he came to know God. I've heard that before, where we are like, oh my, thought it was a selfish thing to do. I think the person just wants peace. Life is hard. Absolutely. Life is hard, but God is good. Life is hard, but God is good. Alicia says, I appreciate you tackling the issue. Absolutely, Alicia. Ashley. My God, Ashley. Sorry, Ashley. All right. Alicia also says, so encouraging, Pastor Priscilla. Thank you so much for bringing this up. Absolutely, guys. This is something that I think is so. To answer the question, do I feel like the person goes to heaven or to hell? Let me break it down for you. First of all, we know the 10 commandments. One of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill. We know that God does not want us killing people. Some people would say, oh, well, what about war? Wars happen all the time. Somehow God identifies murder and war as two separate things. You see, throughout the Old Testament, there were wars that would happen. And what would God do? He would defend his people if they were obedient and called to him for help, or called to him for help. So the question is, murder and actually killing in war are very two different things. But when it comes to murder itself, we know God says, I don't want you to do it. He says that He even has gone as far as to say that jealousy can be like a murderous act in your heart, and being careful about how you even view when someone has something you want and you can't get it or whatever it may be. So murder is a very big deal to God. I would not, even with scripture, I would not try to put myself in the place of God himself, a sovereign God who knows everything. I mean, in from the beginning, massive God, and put myself in a place here now and say, I think you go to hell or I think you go to heaven. I don't think it's my decision to make, and I don't think it's my call to guess on. Now, I love, you guys know, all the questions, okay? And I hate that I don't have a direct answer for this one, because I cannot put myself in the place of a sovereign God. He does not clearly spell out in the word of God if suicide means that you go to hell. And there has been definitely some deep dives on it. There may be some theologians that have this meticulous breakdown on this and that, but that is, I think, not a place that we should put ourselves in. God is sovereign. And if God receives them into heaven, unfortunately, I don't think I can say it's okay that we don't know for sure. And we have to be okay with that. I think sometimes we try to really look for answers on stuff like if we don't have an answer, it challenges our faith altogether. It doesn't for me. I don't know about you. It doesn't for me. I don't need to know if someone goes to heaven or hell. I don't. I have to be okay with my faith. I have to trust God either way, right? So for me, I don't feel like I would personally need an answer, but it's still a great question. But God is too sovereign, and he does not give us exact answers for the first things you say, or tell them early. And I've heard others suggest to wait to tell the guy. Let me clarify my dating situation. She goes on to say, we currently are still getting to know each other. We're just collecting information. We've only been on one date because of COVID-19. COVID-19 we're just so tired of her. And COVID-19 shut everything down, she said. So we don't have a title on this relationship or anything. So let me summarize. She's like, we've only had an official in-person date one time. We've been talking on the phone and stuff. But at what point do I tell this dude that I am holding out till marriage? Community, are we ready? It is time to dive in. I want you to share what you would do. What you think she should do. How soon do you think you should introduce the topic of whether or not you are going to have sex before marriage? It is a good question. And sometimes I think something that gets left out a lot in a church setting. In a church setting, is so much about family and marriage. I feel like the dating space gets totally neglected. Just overall. There are some pastors starting to talk about it now, but a lot of times people don't want to get like tripped up with saying something that's too rule like, because something you don't want to do is start creating a bunch of rules for something God didn't create. He didn't create the rule for it. So guidance and all of that is what we're about to be given. Okay, so someone says, so Chloe said, that's a great question. Someone, Alicia said on Facebook, the first date, tell him now. Alicia said, tell him now, that is the situation. Okay, all right, so Chloe on YouTube says, I'd wait for the third date. That's a hard one. I believe that it doesn't matter when, she says, I guess when you tell them, because we are clanked up till marriage, you know. It says the truth has to come out at some point, Chloe says. All right. On Facebook, Alicia says, immediately. I agree with you, Alicia. So guys, here are my initial thoughts. You guys know I'm not dating. I've been married a minute. But here's what I would say. I would not want my whole relationship to be about whether or not we're having sex. I would not. And I would think that it could turn into that if in the first date you're like, "Oh, what's your name? Oh, okay, yeah. Where do you work? Oh, how'd you get into that? Look at me. I'm acting like I know how you start off dating. Let me just fake this for a minute. Let's just roll with me. Yeah. So, yeah, well, actually, I'm a therapist, a sex therapist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a psychologist, I'm a counselor. Yeah, he's like, "How'd you get into that work?" "Yeah, I do this, I do that." "Oh, okay, okay." So, I'm like right now, as I make this up, I'm trying to figure out when you're gonna say, "Oh, yeah, and so sex, what's your sex life?" What do you on the first date? You're like, So maybe you go into this conversation. Maybe you start saying, well, what are some of the things you're really looking for, in this whole dating, in this dating scene? Like, what are you looking for? So, because I'm trying to figure out how you get somebody to list out or to say, "Oh, I'm clanked till marriage." I just want to let you know that I'm clanked up. So, on the first date, I don't think y'all, it's just me. I don't think this is a first date conversation. But let me say, if you feel like you would drop the drawers on your first date because your spirit is weak, you better say it. You better say it because you need accountability ASAP. Look, if you know you can't hold it down, like, because that's the thing. If you know you are spiritually mature enough and this is a real value, I'm not, if you still hoping you don't spread them, y'all, I'm talking like I'm in my living room. If you are hoping that you don't spread them before you're married, you hope, you shouldn't be on no date. You ain't ready. Because this means you will drop your values for a dude or a female. You ain't ready. So my thoughts is you need to be sure of your values. Last week we talked about some of these values and kind of building what they are. And if your values would go out the window for a new relationship, meaning God has blessed you with the person, oh my gosh, we're clicking, this may go somewhere, and you would throw out your values for this person, you are not ready yet. You are not. Now, you're going to be nervous at first because take it from me, I've done it both ways. I have held out till marriage. Oh, that would be important to say. I've held out till marriage and I've had the mistake of having sex before marriage. So I did both. Like I did both ways of dating, and holding out till marriage that second time was beautiful for me. It was fire. And I actually can give you guys some of the ways that I was able to withstand until I got married. If you care to hear that. Okay. So on Facebook, Jasmine says, let me expand her comment. Jasmine says, that's something you tell sooner than later, like when the topic of the future comes up. There it is. Okay, she's helping me out. So you talk about what do you want in the future? Marriage, kids, family, she says. This is not her voice. I'm making this up. Then just throw out there like, fam, I'm holding out till marriage, and get his views and opinions on it right then. So this what Jasmine says. She said, just throw it out. On YouTube, Chloe is laughing that I said drawers. Girl, look, there is countryness still. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee all day. And there's countryness because I got a lot of Mississippi roots too. Christy, woo, woo. This is a very close friend of mine, actually. Christy, her and I met as camp counselors at KAA, back in college. So we go way back. She lives in DC. Christy says, it's such an interesting topic that there is no right or best something. I do think when couples start talking about sex or getting physically close, you straight up be honest and say your stance in a kind way. For me, Chrissy girl, that would be too late. Once we don't start heating up, and then I say, well, actually, I'm holding out till marriage. Well, we've been dating for how long? A couple weeks, a month, 6 months, and then it gets all hot, and I'm like, oh, I'm holding out. Chrissy, I could not. I would go down. This is me. I would go down. I could not do it unless I was at a spiritual peak. I could not do it. And let us get physically close and then say, oh, why? Because then they can talk me out of it. Okay? They may just touch my ear the right way. They may say the right thing. They said nothing. Why? Because sex is a big deal in relationships. Sex before marriage happens to be the only thing God said run from in the Bible. He done called you a conqueror, more than a conqueror. He done called you the righteousness of God himself, all these things. He tells you to run from having sex before marriage. He said, flee fornication. He said, take off. It's the only thing. To me, that gotta mean something. That gotta mean something. And we both know your heart and soul goes when you open them up. That is just a real thing. And I will share my experience. Chrissy said, hopefully y'all have talked about spiritually and religion. So this is a good time. Oh, that's good. I like that. Chrissy says, well, once you start talking about your faith and your religion, then that would be a good conversation to have. I agree with that. Hopefully you have had that conversation where you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a Christian. You know, what about you? Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother topic. How do you even have the conversation about religion or spirituality? Because let me just say, if you must the brakes, right? When things start and you trying to pump the brakes, oh my gosh, you're gonna make that dude so mad, so mad. Ooh, okay. On YouTube, and then I'm going to give my final thoughts here. Diane says, I would tell him right away in conversation if it came up. I like that, Diane. He may ask, but here's the thing, because guys don't want to seem like they just trying to, jump your boots. Y'all don't know what to say. What should I be calling this? I'm trying to not say sex so much so they don't like kick me off of YouTube. But what I'm just saying is, if he don't want to ask you because it may look like that's all he wants. So it may be really hard for him to just talk about it. You know what I mean? Chloe says, would you date someone who wasn't abstinent? Chloe set it off. Would you even date somebody who wasn't abstinent? I think that is a separate conversation. Y'all got to take notes. Oh, you see me looking for a pencil? Would you date someone who wasn't abstinent? Which is something oh my gosh. Because I think we're talking about before we find out whether or not they're abstinent, right? We don't know what they are because we haven't talked either way about it. But Chloe, that's a really good question. Okay, drawers. Don't be laughing at me calling drawers. Someone says these answers are awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Jonice said, I haven't rejoined the dating scene since I decided to abstain until marriage because I haven't felt that I trust myself. It's been 6 years in total, she says. She's on Facebook. In total, but 2 years since I vowed to wait until marriage. I have to rebuild my value in who I am as a child of God. Now I have it. But my flesh sometimes wants to go back to my old ways. Girl, that was so well said. I can remember a time where I was exactly where you were, Jonice, exactly where you are. I had dated in college and I wasn't abstinent in college. I thought I could be. But then I really started liking this guy, and my confidence and my walk with God wasn't strong enough. And y'all, I'm in a Christian school. I was at ORU, and I would spend the night at his apartment sometimes, all of the things. Like I was, look, belly ring and all. Yes, the girl was trying to live. I'm at the parties where y'all got to wear a bikini and y'all, look, it was just that season. Okay. It was just that time. And I found myself doing things that I was just so ashamed of. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like why? Yes, I like him, but I wasn't strong enough to be like, but I love God more. I like you. I might love you now, but I love God more. And to me, I think like before you date, you really want to consider, do you love God more? Or is he just an accessory? If you love him more, your life looks really different. And so what happened is I said, okay, next time I date, first of all, I'm gonna do what Janice did. I'm like, I'm not gonna date for a grip. Okay. I even was crushing on this guy. I was flirting, but I was like, I'm not dating nobody. I was not dating anybody. And then my now husband, when he approached me, he was the boyfriend in college that I was making the mistakes with. Well, what are the odds? And then in a whole nother state, 2+ years later, he's talking about, will you date me? And now we had matured. We had grown up. We were two separate people. Like I was all the way different grown. I had a roommate, all the things. Actually, I was living by myself. So when he stepped to me about dating, I was like, you know what? Let me figure out if this is something I want to do. So the first thing I did is got spiritual accountability. I went to my pastor because I was also a faith group leader. So I was leading in the church. I went to my pastor and I was like, hey, I'm about to start dating. Here he is. This is a dude right here. You know, we in here together, because if you can't sit down with who I'm spiritually accountable to when I'm about to be in a dating relationship, you don't care about me enough, because it means a lot to me that I'm actually like doing this right this second time, because I knew if I jacked it up again, I didn't know if I could find myself. I thought I would be gone left. So we sat there in there with him and my pastor at the time, our pastor, because we end up at the same church, our pastor was like, well, you guys know you're going to have to do something different so you don't end up, you know, having sex too early, making bad decisions. And so literally I had to decide. I said, you know what? First thing I'm going to do is get a roommate. Get a roommate. What that mean? You can't be up in my space. I live by myself. Nope. I needed to get a roommate. Y'all, I moved out of my apartment and I got a roommate who also had the same goals as me. She wasn't bringing people through the apartment, having sex with them, right? This was literally me in a with a roommate who was a close friend, who we 20s or whatever. So we had good friends and we could hang out. We never would, if all of us hung out till 11, midnight, whatever, we had a partnership, an agreement with our friend. At least one friend stayed with us. They would not walk away from us being together alone, because we were all in it together, right? So community was important. And if you don't have that, you can always have somebody you call, hey girls, date night, we about to go out. Or you can text them, we're going out. Hey, can you check on me in an hour? You can make this thing happen. So for me, that's what I did. So when the wedding day came, I'm like, yes, I did it. But I also wasn't engaged 5, 10, 15, 20, umpteen years. Okay. 1 year. 1 year we married. Okay. So engagement needed to happen because we can't be holding out for 5, 800, 10,000 days. What are we doing? Okay. That's a whole nother thing. All right. So that's how I did it. That is what worked for me. Like, I was like, I need to get community. I need to have accountability. I need to work this thing. And were there times where I was tempted? I was so committed to God at this point where I would get alarmed when I felt my flesh trying to rise. Like, it was like a woof. Hey, love you, boo. Let me back up. Like, I literally, and because he was with me, he wasn't trying to pressure me. Like, he was like, yep, see you later. He used to say Matthew 5:28, which says, you look upon a woman with lust, like it's committing sin. And so he'd be like, Matthew 5:28, boo, I'm gone. Right? It became a joke. We just made it kind of like a part of the thing. And we stuck to what we needed to do. Right? So both of us had to grow up a lot. Oh, somebody talked about kissing. Y'all, we're going to have to talk about dating boundaries. Like, what are your boundaries? Oh, I'm writing all this down. We're going to do these future episodes. Okay, let me get a couple of these comments and then leave you guys with the point, profuse point. Okay, Janice, who gave us a great summary of her situation. She said, that's a good takeaway. I haven't actively sought someone to fill the void. God has to take that role and I have to wait till he sends the man to me. Absolutely. But let me just encourage you when you say send the man to you. I am not opposed myself to online dating. If somebody came to me and said, do you think online dating is of God? Do you think that's seeking out a man, that's pursuing him? I think there's ways that you know if you're pursuing a dude or not, but making yourself available to date somebody and you got your boundaries good, you know, you and God is tight, but at the same time, you know, you got a flesh, so you put stuff in place to keep yourself good. Look, you can do it when you feel like you're ready. But definitely make sure you're ready. And what I mean by that is, oh, I will never feel tempted. You're going to feel tempted your whole life. You're in a body. Okay. You're going to feel tempted. That's going to be a part of it. But if you know you and God are not tight, you're not ready. You will sacrifice him for them. And that's not a place you want to. It's hard to forgive yourself too. You don't want to put yourself in that type of place. All right. Alicia said, trying to date as a single mom is a struggle. But when I do start dating, I want to date with purpose and not as an activity, Oh, dating with purpose is something else. Y'all, we got to talk about this stuff. Dating with purpose. Because there's certain conversations that him and I specifically had. And I see the benefits in my marriage, y'all. Like, can I just say, doing it the right way, like I see the benefits in our marriage. There is definitely a trust that I have. There's so much. Oh, this is so big. Someone says, what about kissing before marriage? Ashley, I'm not even gonna make you wait till a future podcast. Our boundary when we were dating the right way was no tongue kissing. Peck, sure, I'll kiss you on your cheek. And when I kiss you on your cheek, I'm not gonna stick my tongue out either. Look, yep, y'all, it is what it is. I'm not going to feather. Okay. I'm not just, I'll kiss you anywhere, but no tongue kissing at all. That was our boundary. And that was our boundary because that's something he said to me. I didn't just give him, hey, here are all my boundaries. We talked about how far can you go and it's a failure for you. Here's how far I can go or it's a failure for me. Because he needs to have okay, if we're at our house past this time, that's a situation for me. So you need to kind of know what your line is, but you need to know what his line is. If the line is just about you because you're the only one really holding out and he's just kind of waiting to see if it works out, that's unequally yoked. Why? Because that's a major thing in the dating space. Whether or not you're having sex. So someone says, Ashley Nash, what about kissing? Just talked about that. No kissing, my flesh will rise. Let's hold hands. Look, let's hold my pinky right here. Grab my pinky. Look, we good. And hopefully y'all are connecting on a lot of different other levels. Okay, on YouTube, it says, I love your honesty. This has to help someone. I agree. I'm praying it does, Diane. Tasha says, you don't hear this transparency enough from the church. I completely agree. I thank God for you taking the time to answer this. Much appreciated. Candace Rodriguez, late to the party, but hi. Hey, Candace, girl. And Candace, if you're single, I want you to watch the replay of this where we break down about sex before marriage, the whole thing, and have a really good conversation about it. So what I want to leave you guys with this profuse point, because I was like, what am I going to talk about today to kind of drive home? I'm going to stay on this same topic. So this profuse point is the last segment. It's the last segment that we do here before we wrap it up at the Don't Be Useless podcast. If you haven't yet, I want you to share out this podcast. If you're on Facebook, there's a share button at the bottom of your screen. You can click share and share this out to your homepage. It means so much to me when you guys do that. On YouTube, this is something you can drop a link to your single friends or whoever. But the point that I want to kind of leave with today is, I'll start big. Know yourself. But sometimes we're like, well, how do I get to know myself? I think part of getting to know yourself, and for those of you who've gone through the journey of learning yourself, if Janice is still on the line, you're kind of in that place now. You're trying to get to know you and love yourself and all of that stuff right now. Throw in some things. You can throw them in chat if they come to you on how you've done that. But my journey in coming to know and understand myself is, one, I had to accept that I'm going to be different now than I'm going to be in 3 years, in 5 years. Not all the way, but there's going to be some things I'm open to or that I'm not interested in anymore. Like, you change and you evolve. I think one of the ways you come to love it is when you value that God made you in his image. We know the scripture where God has said he has made you in his likeness and image, which means you have been tailor-made just for him, primarily, or number one, for him, and you've been made after him. So this means, no, you don't like eggs, okay? You don't like eating meat, but Susie over here eats meat. You don't, all of these different things, guys, you're still made in the image of God. So though you may have differences that you notice about yourself from other people, when you start to say, I like me. What's that Kirk Franklin song? I like me. Do you like me? Because I like me. Oh, you don't like me? Because I like me. Y'all, I play that song. My kids love it. It's a confidence builder in our house. That is the jam, the Kirk Franklin. But I want you to get to where you can say, I like this. Like, man, I really like that I have a caring heart. Now, for me, mine is I like that I'm tough. I'm tough, y'all. I'm kind of tough. Like my husband said, my kids are starting to wear me down. But outside of that, like they can nag me to get something. I have to put up my shields again. But y'all, I'm kind of tough. Like I am a tough girl. Something blows up in my mama's life, in my husband's life. Like we just had, he just came out the surgery. I go to bat for him spiritually and in life. Like I am loyal. I am that friend. What about you? What are the things that you have come to learn and love about yourself? Sometimes you need to write it down, especially if you've been through a struggle like a divorce or a bad breakup where it feels like you are being torn to shreds, or you've lost a parent, or you've lost a friend, a loved one, or something. If you've gone through some type of situation like that, you have to come back to yourself. And one of the best ways to do that is coming back to yourself in God's face. You got to talk to him. God, my heart is broken, but I know that you love me. I know that you love me. I know that you love me. And what happens is you begin to see yourself through God's love. God, I know that you love me. Because for me, in that period where I had the dysfunctional, codependent college relationship, and then I'm dating to marry the right way, guys, in that period, I found me. I found me. And can I tell you something that you may not want to hear? One of the ways that I found myself was I had to be by myself. I had to be in a place where I'm not comparing myself to nobody. I couldn't put other stuff in my face that made me feel small. I had to just be like, I had my little routine. Like I got to where I'm like, okay, worship music, I like this type. Or, I can only do like 3 worship songs a day. And then I need some turn up, or I'm about to lose. Or ladies, your parents. It is so easy to lose yourself after having kids because all you're thinking about is the output to them and the giving out to them. And so my challenge to you is you need to also come back to who you are. And it can take time, but know the things you like that about you and love them. Start with the like and then love. So again, one thing, practical thing in this point is spend time with yourself. Some of you are single, live by yourself. You're like, look, I'm by myself all the time. Right. But are you getting to know yourself, or do you feel like you're just taking up space until you find a man? You just taking up space until the right thing comes along, or that new job, so it can take up all your time in life and you can obsess over it. It's one thing to be alone in a space like it's just you. It's another thing to find yourself in that time by yourself. And don't just know the stuff that you do bad. Oh, when I'm alone, I don't have accountability. I sin, I do this wrong, I do that wrong, No, that's not the point. If all you can see is every error you make, you do not understand God's love for you. And chances are you don't like yourself very much because you're always focused on what you're doing wrong. Don't do that. You have to get to a place where you're like, you know what? I embrace this space right now. I'm doing it. I know something for me. Someone says, are you just taking up space? That's right. Are you just taking up space? You're just waiting for that thing you want so bad. If you are, I personally believe it pushes that thing further and further away. Because when you're God's child, a great parent like God our Father, he is not going to give you something that will snatch you away from him. No parent would. So when you can really use that space well, I think it's one of the things that almost brought marriage to me, because I got to where I was like, if I don't ever get married, I'm good. And then here come dude. And I almost was irritated, like, are you serious, God? We was good. Y'all, that is exactly where I got. I'm like, God, I don't need to be married. It is me and you. And we so cool. We so tight. I don't even need. That is where I got. So let me go to some of these comments here. Janice Meek said, learn to enjoy time alone. That's right, girl. Get to know what makes me happy. I don't feel like I have to have a companion all the time. Totally. Can you go to the movies by yourself? Can you go sit in a restaurant by yourself? Can you chill by yourself? Can you grow? Ooh, some of us are like, no. Someone said, I'm gonna go listen to that song. That's right. I like me. Do you like me? Okay, God likes me. Come on. That's jam. Another comment, it's definitely thought because you want a partner, but that partner doesn't dictate your worth. Just like I said, guys, know your worth as a child of God from Relationship Goals. The Michael Todd, y'all, I'm so going to read that Michael Todd book. I definitely am because I want to see how transparent he really gets. That might need to be a conversation topic on our podcast too. How would you go about getting to know yourself? So I've named some of those things now. In the time that you're feeling, first of all, I need you to check your thoughts. Are you always thinking about things you do wrong? Or are you actually considering the things that are great about you? Are you celebrating those things? Can you celebrate? You're not conceited, but you're celebrating the things God has wired you to have and to be. You're also doing things that you enjoy. Okay. So can you go have frozen yogurt by yourself? Can you do something? And then are you scrolling so much on social media that you are so about, everything everybody else is doing. You know everything they're doing, everything that's happening. And really you barely spend time with yourself, right? If you know that you are purposed to be a music artist or this or that, whatever, and you're not investing in yourself, that's part of the love, self-love. You're investing in yourself. You're putting something in. And that's what you want to do. You want to put something in back into yourself. So by doing that, you will begin to love yourself even more because you're starting to invest in you. You see yourself as high value. You see yourself as worth the investment. Yes, that's right. Andrew says, right. That's what's happened. That's what happened to me too. I wasn't even looking for anyone. That's right. I see that edit. All right. Candace says on YouTube, it says, I am married, but I am in a season of finding myself to be better for me and my child. Absolutely. Absolutely. So finding yourself is something that can happen multiple times in your life. It doesn't just happen before you date, but investing in yourself, enjoying time by yourself, feeling extremely value or identifying with the value of who God has made you to be. You can accept you are fire. You bomb, you everything. Can you accept that you are, I am. Yes, I snap at people sometimes too quick, but I am amazing. Seriously. Can you accept and really love on yourself? Can you do it? All right, guys, before we head out, I want to ask you to do me a favor. I asked it earlier. If you're on Facebook, if you could hit that share button so you can know about it. If you're on YouTube, you can click over somewhere and click the thumbs up button. You can go ahead and like it. If you're comfortable dropping a comment, hey, enjoy the podcast, whatever it may be, drop a comment. Today, I'm going to drop on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our podcast from last week. And it's edited to where it has some of the extra fluff of me talking and stuff on it. It's a lot cleaned up whenever it's on those. So that is going to drop within the hour or so of this me hopping offline here. So make sure, guys, that you listen to last week's on Spotify and help me run those numbers up. You guys have been doing that. I see the numbers and I'm barely seeing any differences in me doing it live and you guys listening. So bless you so much. Don't forget to email me at hello@itspriscillab.com so we can talk about what you want to talk about. And that is all we have today. So I hope this podcast was a complete blessing for you guys. I hope that it made your life better. But most importantly, I hope that it helps you deliver on your vision, build your confidence, and helps you to use your God-given gifts. I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.